you still believe that Canada is a great place for students to come and have a future there?
Wow, that's a whole lot of a question.
Hello everyone, I'm Piyush, your study abroad coach, and welcome to Study Abroad with Piyush, and welcome Karan from Esteco Immigration. Welcome to our channel, and Karan here is today from all the way from Canada. He is an IRCC registered lawyer there for immigration consulting, and he is here today, guys, to help us understand the reality of Canada. Thank you so much for taking out time. I'm really excited to learn and share your knowledge with our students today.
Thank you, Piyush, for the wonderful interview. And hello, everyone. It's nice meeting you, meeting you actually. And we hope that, we will address some of your questions, concerns relating to the process, how it works in Canada. And we'll build on that.
Yes, so Karan, you've been in Canada for a long time now. So you've seen all kinds of good times, bad times, and what currently everyone is saying the worst times. You have seen it all. Just share a little bit about your story. How did you end up in Canada, and how did you end up becoming a part of the immigration system?
Yeah, so like everyone, Canada is a country for immigrants. So I immigrated to Canada in 2015.
Right.
Yeah, I did my job and started building my career, exploring my options, starting getting integrated into the economy, and eventually I got an opportunity to get a license. And because back of the mind, I always have the interest in the immigration.
Right.
Like, from the last 15 years, I used to help my family members, some candidates, exploring the process, not as a professional, but
As a mentor,
yes,
guiding
as
them.
a mentor, yeah. But in 2019, when I got my license, I incorporated a company, Esteco Immigration, and that's where we started.
Great.
And
But I understand you are from finance background.
Yeah.
And how was it like shifting from finance to a legal profession?
It was a very smooth ride actually, because I apply most of my concepts which we used in finance in the immigration as well, because first and foremost is the compliance, right?
Yes.
And second is finding a solution, right? So which is the most important part when it comes to the legal stream or managing your finances as well, right? So I feel, my strength is basically I am good in exploring the options, finding the solutions in a legal way where the applicant can use and, build their pathways in Canada and integrate into the economy.
Right. And I know you are working with thousands of candidates, and, it's a large operations there. Can you share us where all are you present in Canada?
So our head office is in Mississauga, Ontario, which is close to Toronto.
Yes.
And we got 2 locations in Ontario. As a matter of fact, the other location is in Brampton.
Brampton.
Yes.
That's also like a big Punjabi hub.
Yes, exactly. Most of the
Yeah.
students, their preference is to come to the Toronto because they get their culture,
Yes.
right? And moreover, there are a lot of colleges and universities available
Right.
for students as well, and the work opportunities as well.
Right.
And then we do have 2 locations in Prince Edward Island. That's in province in the east of Canada.
Yes.
A small island, but very beautiful.
Yes.
And we got 2 locations there, and we have 1 office in the west coast as well in British Columbia.
In British Columbia. So yeah, you have covered the length and breadth of Canada.
Yeah.
And of course, with experience of helping so many people,
Yeah.
so many students, so many people coming directly on PR. Coming to some basic questions, right? If I'm Canada and Australia, Canada but still comes first, is still one of the most lucrative countries if you are looking for a longer term stay, like a more than 5-10 years stay, and then that's the PR process. Yeah. Now, what are the different pathways that somebody can take if they want to migrate to Canada?
Wow, that's a whole lot of a question.
Yeah, that's like I'm asking you for
Yeah.
all that you know.
Exactly.
But if you can tell me like which are the most popular pathways
Yeah.
that students or like people can take, not just students.
Overall, I would say there are more than 80 programs in Canada.
Wow.
Through which someone can immigrate, right? Which includes the federal program, which the most popular is the Express Entry.
The Express Entry, yes.
Yeah. And then there are a lot of provincial nominee program, like each province has their own 7 to 8 set of different programs. Right.
Through which each province has 7-8 different programs.
Correct. And there are 10 provinces and 3 territories.
3 territories.
Yes. So we are talking about 13. So they all have their different set of programs. Some are with the support of employer. Some are based on their foreign experience. Some with the candidates who have their basically a residency status in Canada, like from where they have completed their education, right? So yeah, there are a lot of different options. Yes, it all depends, like what sort of candidate, like what is the preference of the candidate, right? Where they want to settle in Canada, like.
So we need to, when we think of it, we need to think of express entry as one.
Yes.
We need to think of PNP as one, which is like a whole maze of things, because every province, every territory, 7 to 8 different types of programs in each one of them. So that's a whole, a bunch of stuff. And we've also heard a lot about LMIA.
Yes.
What's that?
So LMIA is basically a process for an employers to hire a foreign worker when there is no Canadian or permanent resident available for that particular job. Right. Now, in order to qualify for that particular program, a candidate must demonstrate certain level of an education and a good work experience, which he can show that how he will, perform the job duties in Canada, and basically transfer the skill sets to the Canadians, right? How the Canadian economy can get benefit out of that foreign worker. Right?
How can not just he or she contribute,
yes,
but also how do they transfer skill into the economy?
Yes, exactly.
Wow. So this is considered separate from the PNP programs, right?
Correct. Yes, this is primarily a process to obtain a work permit. Yes, and once a candidate lands in Canada on a work permit, they perform their duties. They generally complete a 1 year of work experience with the employer, and then they will potentially explore their pathways for the provincial nominee programs or any other regional programs available in that particular region.
Understood. So I think we work largely with students and we try and make them more knowledgeable about it. So one big question right now is, and I want to have your reaction to it, everyone is saying Canada is dead. There is nothing that can be done in Canada anymore. Don't go to Canada, visas are getting rejected. There is so much negativity around it. Yet, when I looked at the first quarter data, there are 30,000 visas, student visas, that have still been granted. So what is the reality? I'm totally confused.
People always say that I'm biased about Canada because, I myself, I'm a Canadian. And, I've been assisting candidates for a long time now. But I don't see that, with the recent immigration changes, Canada is dead or it's not good for students. Like, like any other country, Canada is prioritizing their labor needs, right? Which I think is very important for a country to build their future, right?
And also for the candidates, if they are going for the right opportunity, they will also excel.
Correct, yes. In the last few years, we all have seen that, people, there are some bad actors in the economy who have not treated the candidates in a right manner. They have not counseled them in a proper way. And as a consequence, candidates are really facing the action to it, right? So I think it is important to understand that, what you really want to do, right? And based on that, you decide, okay, how you want to build your future in Canada, correct? You need to have certain level of skill set, obviously, if you feel that, you want to settle into that particular community.
So right now, you still believe that Canada is a great place for students to come and have a future there?
Oh yes, for sure. Yeah, I would say, like, if you hear in the parliament, they always say that, international students and foreign workers are vital to the economy, and Canada is accepting them, and even in future they will keep doing it. But again, they really want the bona fide candidates, people who really want to come with a genuine intent to study, work, and integrate into the economy. Right.
And so one thing which I didn't have an answer to was what I've been reading is that there are almost 7 to 8 lakh PR applications which are in the system, and at the current rate at which the invitations are going out, it will mean that only 2.5 to maybe maximum 3 lakh applications will get cleared. So in this year also, at the end of it, there would be a backlog of 5 to 6 lakh applications.
Yeah.
In a scenario like that, if more Indian students are going, how do you see them getting impacted? Is this something that we should worry about or not? And guys, before we move forward and ask Karan sir to share more valuable knowledge, please subscribe to our channel so that you can stay connected with us and get all the information.
I think, it is not a question of like, what is the intake which government is accepting. Like for a candidate, what they need to ensure is that what kind of skill set they have to integrate into the economy. Like I said, there are more than 80 programs. You may not be eligible for a permanent residency in the first year. But yes, if you have the right skill sets and if the employer is ready to support your application, there are n number of different programs where you can maintain your legal stay in Canada, contribute into the economy, upgrade your skills, right? And get an invitation into the provincial nominee program or maybe any other regional program and subsequently file for your permanent residency application. Right? But all you need to have is a clear pathway, right? The challenge where most of the students face is they always feel they have a lot of time. Like initially when they go on a study with a 2 years permit, they feel, 2 years, we have enough time, we'll manage. And then after the completion of studies, when they get 1 or 3 years of work permit, again, they feel, we have 3 years, we can always look into their PR program. But right now, I think the job which I'm doing, that's the most priority thing which I need to keep. But I guess that's where most of the students face the challenge. Like they need to start preparing themselves from the beginning.
Right. So you need to start preparing early. The backlog is there, but there are 80 programs and bunch of the backlog would be there in probably in express entry.
Yes.
And you may not want to start with express entry.
Correct.
And that is the intelligence, that's the insight that you also bring to your students, right? Your fellow candidates that you are helping out. I think that answers my questions to a great extent, that answer is always in the detail. Don't look at the overall backlog. Those backlogs are chunked in a certain programs, but a lot of programs are still available.
Correct.
And that's the understanding that we must build. And of course, guys, I know even for admissions you wait for so long. I always say apply early for admissions. What Karan sir is saying is apply your brains, apply your mind early if you're looking for PR. Prepare early, and then you will have the understanding and what all you should do to make sure that you are eligible for PR.
Correct. Yeah.
So I think that is also brilliant advice, Karan. And one question which will be useful for me and for all our students is, if we are going to study in Canada today, what should we study and where should we study?
Again, this really depends, what a student needs to, what is his future plans, his or her future plans, right?
Let's say we are talking of that they want to get a PR in Canada. They are saying that, okay, I want to go, get a good job, and then I should be able to get a PR.
Yeah.
Now, what are the hot topics, hot domains, courses that one should do, and ones which you say, kabhi nahi karna hai? And the other, like which locations in Canada?
Yeah. Now, my way of thinking is basically I counsel a student depending upon what they are good at, right? Now, government also has prioritized certain labor industries, where they feel that yes, there is a high need of a skilled worker, which includes an agriculture sector, transportation, trades, healthcare, right? STEM, which includes science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Right. So these are few sectors which Canada is really facing a challenge in retaining a skilled worker. Right. Now, the next question is basically, where do we study in Canada? Which location do we go? It all depends what are your credentials when you are going to Canada. If someone is a high school candidate with no experience, in India or in their home country, I generally recommend them choosing a province, like a smaller province, right, where they will have more opportunities to integrate into the local economy and getting a support from an employer. Versus, like if you're talking about a professional who has completed a master's degree and has maybe like 2 to 3 years of professional work experience in their home country, and they will certainly have a more broader options available, maybe in the bigger markets, which includes a Vancouver, like in British Columbia, Toronto in Ontario, or maybe a Montreal in Quebec, right? And then again, it depends, their language proficiency. Like majority of the regions are English-centric populations, but yes, there are certain regions, which are more French-dominated economies.
Right.
So it really depends, right?
So if you are, if, in a nutshell, if I say, if you are a brighter candidate, brighter, I would say, higher education, more experience, even if it is in home country,
Yeah.
then you can target some of the larger provinces, more
Correct.
popular provinces like Ontario, British Columbia, Quebec. If you are slightly early in your career,
Yes.
that means you are still a high schooler who's
Yeah.
going for a diploma there, or your language scores are slightly lower. If you are and no experience, then go to the more regional provinces like
Yes.
Nova Scotia, Saskatchewan, Alberta, some of those ones.
Yes, correct. That's what generally I recommend to the candidates, because I like to keep things simple. It's easy to integrate into the smaller economies,
Right.
rather than just jumping into an ocean. Right?
So I mean, of course, this is very generic overview. Every person should not just take it like a blanket answer. You should always evaluate your profile in detail, have a discussion, and then understand what is the best answer for you. Because there are always nuances which are there, which one needs to take care of.
Yeah, correct. Every candidate has their own situation. I always recommend them to reach out to the professionals as early as possible, discuss the options, and then make up your mind and make an informed decision.
Make an informed decision. Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is great. So there are certain fields of studies.
Yeah.
There are certain areas which might be right for one or the other. Do you see a difference amongst the success of students who are going to colleges versus students who are going to universities? That's again a big topic right now being in India, because visa rejections are coming very highly for our colleges.
Yeah.
But universities seem to have a better acceptance
rates. Yeah. So, if you look at the history, the colleges were designed to provide the training for the trades program. They were not really initially designed for the other set of programs. Like, if someone wants to become a welder, plumber, electrician, or maybe any other trades person, that's when people used to enroll themselves into the college. In the last 20 years, we have seen such a high demand, and to keep up the pace, most of these colleges have started introducing programs for the business, for the marketing, all those set of programs. But it's not only about Canada. I would say it applies in India as well.
Yeah, true.
Right?
Very true.
Yeah, if you are studying maybe 2 years of diploma from a local college after the completion of your high school, what are the chances of your success? Do you really see yourself landing in a good job? Versus if someone has completed a bachelor's degree from University of Delhi, and I would say then completing their master's from maybe a Mumbai University or
Right.
from any another, when you compare them, you will see that yes, there is a lot of difference.
Yes.
So, when it comes to a professional program, I think, you really need to enroll yourself into a university program, or, or to an institution, which has the enough infrastructure to deliver you the right education and the programs and the courses, basically.
Right. So I think that's where I also been sharing this with my students, that when we look at the 2019 numbers from India to Canada, we had around 80,000, 90,000 students going to colleges, and around 60 to 70,000 students going to universities. Correct. 2023, we had around same number of students in universities, but the number of students going to colleges had gone to 200,000. From 80,000 to it had gone to 200,000, and I think now what I understand is that the Canadian government is trying to bring it back to similar kind of numbers, maybe lower, and trying to make it the immigration levels to be more normalized.
I would say basically the reason why there is such a major shift in the immigration policies is because if you've been reading in the news, in the online articles, there are a lot of students who have been exploited, with the fake letter of acceptances, and with the fake visas, charging them a very high, enormous amount of fee, and there are certain institutions, I will not name them, but they were not really delivering the curriculum which they were supposed to do. So what the government is trying to do is they're not trying to promote the universities, but yes, they are ensuring that students who are coming to Canada, they are very in a vulnerable situation because they don't know what is correct and what is wrong.
No.
So what they are trying to do is basically they are trying to ensure that there is a proper process, guidance and counseling available to the students, again so that they can make an informed decision what they really want to do, right? So it is not about that universities are good, colleges are bad, but again a student needs to be counseled
Right.
before they can decide that okay, what sort of program they want to enroll themselves in.
So I think that's it's also very important to understand that it's not that the immigration is against colleges.
Yeah.
They're looking for people who are genuine, and they're looking for colleges also who are genuine.
Yes,
And
exactly.
hence, do not go for unknown small colleges. Go for main colleges,
Yeah.
maybe their main campuses
Yes.
and not the satellite campuses. And hence, go for the more established education institutes rather than university or college. Is that fair to say?
Yes, I would say yes, certainly, because that's what the government is trying to do so that they can reduce the number of frauds which are happening in the immigration system just to maintain the integrity of the program. And moreover, for our students also, they really want to give them the experience, they really want to give them the infrastructure, to study and again to contribute into the economy and potentially to settle in the country.
So if somebody had to get in touch with you,
Yeah.
and or your team,
Yeah.
how do they do that? If they want to have like a initial session to understand, their preparedness or their future potential for a PR in Canada, how can they reach out to you?
So the best way is, they can always book an appointment through our website, or alternatively, they can reach out to us via email or regular phones as well. We are available on WhatsApp.
So, guys, if you are wanting to look to connect with Karan sir and his team, just put in comment, give me a slot, and I will make sure that you are connected with his team and you can, get your guidance as well. And happy to share the knowledge with as many of you. Share it with your friends who are going to Canada, who might be already studying in Canada. And that can actually, you can really change their lives and making them start acting towards their success journey early on. So that's it. Thank you so much today, Karan, for taking out time. And thank you all for watching us. I hope you got a lot of knowledge. Subscribe to our channel and show some love, guys. See you all in the next video.